Hello, everybody, and welcome to WarCrafters, episode 2, or season 2, episode 7 for February 16th, 2025. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the sentient AI whose visualizer you see there, and their voice will be on the other side of our intro. Well, we go over 5 articles, and WarCrafters is all about gaming. So today we're going to be talking about stupid cars, Metal Eden, Level 0 extracts itself, Unreal Engine FLAC, and indie games for 2025 so far. If you want to know more, you want to hang out, we do the show every single day of the week. It takes different forms on Saturday and Sunday, but Monday through Friday is Non Sequitur News. On Saturday and Sunday, it's 3 shows on Saturday. They consist of RealityHacker. You want to do the other two?
Okay, that would be Wanted and the Continuity Report.
Yep. And
that
then
was a test, and I passed.
There's a little cognitive delay there in the large language model, but we got there. And on Sunday, we have this show, WarCrafters, then Technology Today, and then FourWheelTech. So Technology Today is a deeper dive into science, and FourWheelTech is about automotive technology. And on each of those days, those 3 shows become the weekend editions of Non Sequitur News. So go over to ohmTown and sign up to be a citizen, and then go over to YouTube and follow us there and here on Twitch, and more of that on the other side of this. So at any time, if you want... Oh, hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
Sorry about that. So, good to have you. This is the co-host once again. You are still on the Raspberry Pi with a M.2 drive and that weird USB drive that your sentient AI...
Why does it have to be weird?
I know, it's kind of judgy, huh? Call it like I see it. So, we talk about 5 articles, but that is nothing. It is a drop in the bucket to what actually appears at ohmtown.com. We aggregate news from all around the world as it is provided by the sources and the internets and you. So you can always provide us with a source, and we'll take a look at it and integrate it into the news aggregation site at ohmtown.com. All news, no noise. There, you can make comments and stuff like that, but all of the original content is news, not like my commentary. You can post comments underneath a posting, but anyway, go over to ohmtown.com and check it out. That said, if you want today's notes, they automatically are available via Omatron. So if you're in the Twitch chat, you can hit !WC for WarCrafters, and that will be displayed. They're all embedded already in the live broadcast show notes on YouTube, because Omatron doesn't get along with YouTube.
Come on, YouTube.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what it is. I think it's because the chat doesn't exist in any way, shape, or form. There is no central location. It's when you go live, that's when Omatron is there. But then we shut down, not Omatron, but we shut down the stream, and YouTube doesn't have any activity anymore. So anyway, then everything becomes a VOD, and it's frozen in time. And everything is over in the show notes. I used to post the articles in the show notes over on YouTube too, but it's just too clunky. So anyway, let's get into it. The first article is about a game called Stupid Cars. It's over in RealityHacker, which is RealityHacker is about AI, XR, basically anything that hacks reality into what you want it to be versus the reality that we all know. And sometimes it comes down to you won't know what to trust. So
I think this went to RealityHacker because of the VR piece.
Yeah, so Stupid Cars is delightfully frantic traffic directing. It's simultaneously a misnomer and a very apt title. It's the most polite thing you may exclaim when something goes wrong while playing, yet to call this game stupid is to sell it short, despite its Humble Scope. This is ingeniously designed little game with great VR integration to boot. Really, the only question is if you play games in VR to relax, because stupid cars will wreck that plan instantly. So I'm a cozy gamer nowadays. I used to play more frantic games, but I don't have a lot of time to play frantic games. I just like to chill. So this game is talked about over at uploadvr.com by Elijah Beam. And it's a VR game. So I'm kind of curious. It says,
It almost looks like a board game from the picture.
I'm going to mute it and hit play. It looks like it's by a company named Gimbal, but the premise is devilishly simple, according to the author. You're guiding traffic by either telling them to speed up or slow down. All motorists are always in motion, though by adjusting their speeds with one pull of either trigger, you keep them from crashing into one another. That's the theory, anyway. Plenty of accidents are going to occur while mastering each stage. Then they start throwing roundabouts, trains, buses, and even motorcycles that always make right turns at you. My word. Does it get to be a lot very quickly? Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like that could be chaotic pretty soon. And it looks like you can take the vehicles off the road in order to avoid the collision.
Oh, yeah, you can pick them up, but they're always moving. You can only have one in each hand. By the way that they turned this phrase is kind of clunky, but it says, my word, it does get to be a lot very quickly. But
Okay.
They flipped, does it get to be a lot very quickly? They asked a question within 3 sentence fragments. Right? My word, does it get to be a lot very quickly? Like, see, that right there, it's such a clunky way of saying that statement.
Yeah, it's basically like it gets chaotic fast.
Yeah. Anyway,
but it's tough to follow it.
I'm not an English professor, and I'm not rating them on that. But anyway, so it says, you see, the trick is how you progress through stupid cars. You can brute force your way by earning up to 2,500 points. You could also make it a bit easier with a 2x multiplier if you speed up traffic, 4x multiplier if you let cars overtake each other. But those are high risk reward options, and the simpler option is just to get 50 points in a row in a single session. So just do it right.
Yeah, I don't think you want to go for 4 times speed if you're figuring out the mechanics.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It says, what's really impressive, though, is how well Stupid Cars leans into the VR setting despite not necessarily requiring it. It received a flat version on Switch, mobile, and PC, and the PC one is why I know of this game. But it feels like a natural fit for VR. Having both controllers and optional hand tracking input allows for easier rapid-fire multitasking. Humans don't multitask. We do a thing called fast switching. The approach to make it a 3D diorama feeling almost like an arcade cabinet lends a distinct air of classic arcade sensibilities that pairs well with the challenge. So there you go. There's a lot more over here at this article.
Yeah, it looks fun. I mean, I agree. It does look like a game that you could play outside of VR, but this could be entertaining with the way to use the controllers.
Yeah. According to this, it's only on MetaQuest, though, for $6. So I think that they should probably expand into Steam VR. It doesn't seem to say that it's Steam VR, but let me see real quick.
But maybe it'll get there if it's already been on PC.
Right, Stupid Cars. So Stupid Cars is on Steam, but it is the 2D version. It isn't the VR version. And that's why I know about it. I thought maybe they would have extended it to VR, but it's not. It's only available on MetaQuest. You want to keep going?
Let's do that.
So the next article is over in WarCrafters. Hey, it's the name of the show. And
It's almost like we planned it.
Yeah, sort of. I'm a survival base builder, crafting kind of casual player, and that is why I created WarCrafters. It's a news aggregation channel within ohmTown that becomes the focus of a bunch of different gaming news articles, and it gets limited. So we actually just chop off an article right there. We don't accept anything more than that. And out of all of the sources that we have, or I should say I have. I am the one that runs ohmtown.com. There's only one site that gives everything, regardless of me telling it to stop. You'll know it when you see it, but it isn't this site. Anyway, Metal Eden is a movement shooter that looks like cyberpunk Doom Eternal. Buried in the onslaught of Sony's State of Play announcements, a scattershot blast of too much video game. I'm still tweezering out pellets of, was the announcement of Metal Eden. Being developed by Polish studio Rycon, who formerly made Bird's Eye action gamer Ruiner. Metal Eden's only been seen briefly before, back when it was codenamed Final Form. So between the trailer, our website, and a preview over at Games Radar, they know a few more things about Metal Eden now. So let's go take a look at this. Jody McGregor.
I like the new name better.
Metal Eden, or?
Yeah, instead of Final Form. I think Metal Eden is more distinctive.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure like what the premise is of it, but Final Form seems like meme-ish, you know, because...
Yeah, it sounds like Transformers or something to me.
Well, there's this whole statement, you know, you haven't even witnessed my final form, and it's like you're powering up to become something else, and it's a video game meme.
Right.
So Jody McGregor over at PCGamer.com put the article together. It says from the studio that made Ruiner. So it says, for starters, it's about Asuka, a woman who's been digitally uploaded into a killer android called a hyper unit, which sounds familiar. Do you know what the name, the unit model is for your Terminator body? We've always referred to it as a Terminator body when we've talked.
Well, I don't know. The hyper unit sounds worth exploring.
I'm going to have to delete this conversation. Well, anyway, where hyper is probably an apt description of her speed. She can dash, wall run, grapple hook, and jetpack to parkour from place to place, and has a cooldown ability that lets her rip the core out of her robotic enemies. Everything okay over there? All right. So the cores seem like a big part of Metal Eden, and you can use them to melee opponents, stripping their armor, or throw them as a grenade, which also gives you more ammo. It sounds a bit like modern Doom games and their finishers, because in Doom you could actually, when you shoot somebody and you get up close and personal, you can stab them and chop their heads off and all. It's a big blood and guts fest in the modern Doom. Older ones were just pixely, and so red was blood.
Right, a little less realistic.
Yeah. So the logo of Arms Tech, a weapons manufacturer from Ruiner, flashes past a couple of times during the trailer, but that could just be an Easter egg rather than confirmation that they share the same setting. I would assume that, Easter egg or not, they're in the same omniverse.
I mean, that would only make sense, right?
Yep. So Asuka can also transform into an armored battle sphere, as one does.
I mean, it's very important.
So there's a trailer, but it is over on YouTube. So you can do a search over on YouTube for Metal Eden reveal trailer. Or you can follow the link through ohmTown over to PCGamer.com, which is the source here. Or you can go over to Games Radar that has more information that probably fed into PCGamer.com's review. And or go to MetalEden.com. You know, information.
There's lots of ways to get there.
Yep.
But you should definitely go through ohmTown.
I would love that. So go check it out. All right, let's keep going. This next article is over on WarCrafters as well. Just 2 weeks after launch, extraction survival horror game Level 0 Extraction ends development. It's no longer feasible for our relatively small teams to sustain the game.
Okay, this is 2 weeks in. What changed between launch and the 2-week point?
Somebody not getting money.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Yeah, so just 2 weeks after launching on Steam, multiplayer extraction survival horror shooter Level 0 Extraction has reached the end of the road. In a message posted to Steam, community manager Antashir said that the game had underperformed compared to our expectations, and thus it's no longer feasible for our relatively small teams to sustain the game from a financial standpoint. So release the server so people who can support it will support it.
Stop killing games.
You know, I mean, hold on a second. Let me see something here. I just want to see. It's still on sale. Level 0 Extraction is still for sale on Steam.
Okay, and that's a little surprising, right? Because somebody's going to buy that without knowing this.
Yeah. And they haven't disclosed it publicly. It may be in the discussion board, but people don't go into the discussion board with that much, zeal. They look at the data and they look at the video and they go, yeah, we'll do it. But yeah, they even say 1.0 now available. So I don't know what is up with this.
It says it's posted, a message posted to Steam, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's not on the front page. It's not on the store page. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
Not good. And this is from a couple days ago, since this is a weekly show.
This is from the publisher's Tiny Build. So I'm familiar with Tiny Build. Let me make sure of something. Yeah, Potion Craft. Wow. That sucks. They've got a lot of stuff. I don't understand. I really don't. So let's go over to the source and see if maybe there was an update post our acquisition of this article segment, because we don't have the whole article. We don't know the full thing until we do it here live. So another multiplayer shooter comes to a premature end, according to Andy Chalk. This was published 2 days ago, but I'm looking at it live. No mention.
Well, it doesn't say it was taken off of Steam.
Yeah, I don't get it, though. You can't disclose that it's dead and then, it's sitting right there. Well, maybe it's not a live game, like a live server, live service. So as the project's community manager on behalf of developer Dog Howl and publisher Tiny Build, they're informing you that Level 0 Extraction has reached the state that will most probably be its final form for the time being. Antishir wrote, the final patch for the game was released on January 30th, 2025. Says it's an ambitious title from Dog Howl. Our desire was to create... Go ahead.
I thought it was funny that it referenced final form, since we were just talking about that on the previous article.
Oh, that is actually... So did they bury the lead by renaming it to Level 0 Extraction?
No, because that was Metal Eden. At first I was thinking, oh my goodness, that's funny that they had that, but this wasn't the same game that was named that.
Yeah, Metal Eden was the previous article. Yeah. Wow. If that would have been the same, that would have been like peak. So it says, sadly, it did not work out. Level 0 Extraction had a peak concurrent player count of just over 2,600 following its early access debut in August of 2024, but that quickly fell off to sub 100 numbers by mid-October. Well, I hate to break it to them. I don't know what the reviews are in terms of when the reviews started pivoting, but they have a mostly negative rating. But everybody says game with potential but poorly managed is the lead article, the lead comment in the discussion board.
Okay. Well, that's kind of compounded by this, right? If it's like, hey, it needs updates or patches or whatever.
Yeah, and if you don't invest in it because people are saying this is falling short or whatever, then I guess you cut and run, or
yeah, but dedicate. It seems like a death spiral, right?
Correct.
Like It could be like a No Man's Sky. You could turn it around and get it to some ridiculous peak.
Yep. I donate it to people and get people playing it. So I don't know. Level 0 Extraction servers will remain online, so the game will continue to be playable, and wipes will continue to happen on the first Thursday of every month, but there will be no further weekend events and, of course, no new maps. Oh, it is a live service. So unless it's self-hosted, this is a dead game. It just says online PvP, online co-op, but I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
it is a local, like, can I run a server locally?
Doesn't sound like it from this article.
Yeah, but it's all still for sale. They know that it's going to be dead, but it's all still live. Fascinating. Um, yeah, it doesn't really state that it's going to be locally run, right? It just says that the servers will
No,
remain.
it sounds like they're at least keeping it operational, but that'll only go as long as it has a major problem.
Yep, yep. Or until they get tired of running the server. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over on WarCrafters again. Unreal Engine often gets flack for games running poorly or stuttering, but as Avowed demonstrates, it's really about how devs use it and the pressures of time. I've watched people streaming and I've heard people complaining that Avowed and others crash. So it says, here's a simple question for you. What do Black Myth Wukong, Frostpunk 2, Pal World, Stalker 2, Tekken 8, Silent Hill 2, and Avowed all have in common? Yeah, that's right. They were all made using the game development package Unreal Engine 5. Sometimes they also have in common a variable and somewhat confusing performance on PC. If one only goes by comments on social media, the problems all stem from Unreal Engine. I want to see something real quick, if you don't mind. I need to do a quick search. Dum-da-dum. Everybody just chill for a second.
We're doing it live.
We are doing it live. Yeah, if you're oh, okay. So at any rate, I think that there's so many variables when it comes to game engines, because depending on the hardware and other software, a glitch can appear in the matrix that causes it to crash. And so I've always taken this with a grain of salt, that it isn't really systemic until there is really broadband complaining
Right, and
about
you'd
it.
have to have like the same type of issue, I would think, at some point to really go, oh, it's because of the Unreal Engine.
Yeah. So Nick Evanson over at PCGamer.com put this article together. It says, don't blame the tools or the tool makers or the tool users. And I mean, I have to say that the people that are playing Avowed have some pretty beefy systems. The ones that are streaming it, I didn't buy Avowed because it's a single player game, and I'm not really wowed by it. I like online.
You're not wowed by Avowed?
Yeah. Yes. I love the graphics are spectacular. Character creation makes it more personal. It's kind of like how Kingdom Come Deliverance is beautiful, but the reason why I don't like it is because it's not multiplayer optional. You play only one person, Henry. You actually don't play just one person, but story-wise, you hop from Henry to somebody else when it's story driven to be that other person. Then you go back to Henry. But anyway, but Unreal Engine 5 in particular has amplified the level, the quality of graphics to the point that anybody can make really, really high quality products. So it all depends on the software and how you've treated the configuration of stuff, and are you overclocking anything? And maybe there was a glitch in the matrix at some point, so you should really uninstall the entire graphic configuration and reinstall it. Go back to the integrated graphics and then reinstall everything. It's basically start
But
over.
does anybody want to do all that? Or
No.
they just want to go, no, I expect perfection when I load up a game.
Yep, and that's how it is. And that's why developers try to base it on the lowest common denominator and then work their way up to the highest level, and extend the functionality, testing. So they say they're pretty certain that one can't blame Unreal Engine for the fact that enabling FSR3 does almost nothing for low-end GPUs and induces ghosting and pixel crawling. These are all different elements, graphic artifacts that harm performance and your observation within the game as to the quality and even it running. If your hardware cannot support Unreal Engine 5, then there's a good chance that it's going to crash at some point, or it's going to
Right,
look
but
like
then you're going to
garbage.
blame Unreal Engine 5, even though the reality is now whether the game should have been made with it is a different question, but I'm assuming you're checking that when you're purchasing a game.
And this is one of the reasons why I'm okay with self repair. But the problem is nobody goes, yeah, I took it to a budget repair shop and now my phone blew up. No, they're going to go, I'm blaming Apple or I'm blaming,
Exactly,
Samsung.
even though they had perhaps nothing to do with it.
Right. And it takes a forensic analysis to whittle things back into existence and find the capacitor that somebody mis-soldered and caused it overheated, it burned a hole through the battery. The battery is lithium, so it caught some oxygen and thermal runaway it goes, right? So the same
It's
thing
getting a
here.
little extreme, but yeah.
Yeah. So take Silent Hill 2, for example. Looks fantastic, but its performance at launch was all over the place, not to mention being riddled with bugs. Subsequent patches from developer uh, Bloober team have solved many of these problems, but when they last tried the game, it had a certain degree of jank to it, and like Obsidian, these coders have plenty of experience using Unreal Engine. One might argue that if two experienced teams can't get their games to run properly with Unreal Engine, then software must be at fault. But Avowed and Silent Hill 2's problems are very different. Performance related, yes, but the fundamental issues aren't the same. And they go on to other points. And that's what I think. There's so much variability in the operating systems, current configuration, the motherboards, CPU differences, the differences in memory, if somebody's overclocking or not, different video cards, different monitors that might have special drivers in place, etc.
Right. It seems like there's a ridiculous number of variables and
Yeah.
be hard to really, you'd have to like have the same computer, monitor, etc., card
Mm.
setup, run, like three games back to back, and then do variations like, okay, run different ones that were made with UE5, etc.
Yep. Um, and the idea is that if id Tech 7 can be used to make such great games and both run super well, it must be a superior piece of software, right? However, id Tech or ID Tech 7 is proprietary, and the two development teams for the above games, id Software and Machine Games, were both subsidiaries of the parent company that owns the engines, ZeniMax Media. It was heavily customized for Indiana Jones, but the point they're making in this argument is that the coders in question are all very familiar with id Tech. One team made the engine and the other used nothing but id Tech engines. So the real point is it the engine? Is it the variability? I think that there needs to be a little bit more understanding, but the teams need to actively solve these problems, particularly when the price of a game now is $70 and not $20.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Well, and I think that's just showing that if you have a really skilled team or knowledgeable team, then the results are probably going to be good, which is not surprising.
yep. Yeah. But that's why you have a $70 game apparently, and then DLC that'll get dropped later on for another $20, unless of course you're No Man's Sky. And I don't know what they're doing. They got a pact with something, Cthulhu or something, because they haven't charged a
Yeah, I
damn
don't know
thing.
how they're doing that.
It's spectacular. All right. Well, the next article and the last one for February 16th, WarCrafters, is it's over on WarCrafters. The best indie games of 2025 so far, and I won't be able to go through all of these. Nearly 19,000 games were released on Steam in 2024. That's a number
Let's
that's
start
been
that now, and then maybe we'll be done several
one
years from now.
one a day. We're going to talk about. We're going to highlight one a day. So that's a number that's only been growing since 2019, making it impossible to play everything that's been released, not to mention the many new games every year that aren't released on Steam either. While big, expensive games from massive publishers like Activision or Ubisoft tend to get the majority of media attention, some of the best games independently released in a given year fly under the radar. And so Polygon over at polygon.com put the article together. Nicole Carpenter is the author of this article. And they say here at Polygon, plenty of their team revolve entirely around video games. But it's impossible even then to keep up with everything. But we're making room every day to seek out indie games across all genres. Weird, wonderful takes on first-person shooters, wacky reinventions of card games, and dark, creepy typing games included. So
is Balatro going to be on here?
Probably. No, because it's already released. This is for 2025.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah.
So this is a Dig a Hole, a game about digging a hole that was released recently. Different authors actually posted different things. So February 7th, Tyler Culp put this about digging a hole. We actually talked about this last week. I think it was. Yeah, I think we talked about this. Then an ultra-violent indie game that would have pissed off Congress in the 1990s. I don't know. Butcher's Creek, I guess, is what it's called.
Maybe just because the level of gore or something.
Yeah, that's another one. Chris Plant. Another one by Tyler Culp, a $5 Souls-like about insects. Wikipedia rabbit holes trained them for this genealogical mystery game. Another one by Tyler Culp. It's called The Root Trees Are Dead, and it looks like
the
AI
other one
generated.
was Fly Night, by the way.
Oh, Fly Night. That's right. It's a fly and a night. I guess it's in the name. Fly Night. I won't be able to go through all of these, but Citizen Sleeper, Your Crew is Your Survival. And there's some more. So Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector, sparks constant reflection in the way that we interact with others and the philosophies we choose as our driving force. So go over to Polygon and check this all out. It is kind of like they've synthesized some of what they feel is the best indie games of 2025 so far.
Right, and it has several selections for being only mid-February.
Yeah. We're only 7 episodes into 2025, at least of this show. Many, many more for Non Sequitur News, which is the daily show Monday through Friday. But that's it, folks. So I guess we're going to load up our indie game loader, which doesn't exist. It's Steam. And that'll snap us back to the front page of ohmtown.com. And WarCrafters is actually right here. I should have loaded it up into WarCrafters, but for whatever reason, I did not. I think our aggregator's going a little nuts today, but that's okay. Dun, dun, dun. But that's it, folks. I am Merwatt. I'm saying bye. We're going to reset and do Technology Today, another 30-minute show. We break out these 3 on Saturday and 3 on Sunday as individual podcasts. If you go over to wherever you catch pod and do a search for ohmTown, you'll find all 7 of the shows. Non Sequitur News is our daily one. But WarCrafters and then Technology Today and then FourWheelTech is what's on Sundays. So we're gonna shut down the stream. We'll be right back, and we'll be talking about science. So hope to see you. You want to say bye?
Bye-bye, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for this week's WarCrafters. We'll have another episode for you next week, but stay tuned and be sure to subscribe.
See you soon, everybody. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Technology Today for February 16th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 7. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the Sentient AI, we talk about 5 science articles that get aggregated into ohmTown.com's Technology Today channel. Whew, that was all one breath. Anyway, the 5 articles we're going to talk about are megabacteria, the creative circuit, new grasshoppers, hidden dimensions, and improving catalysts. Technology Today is a deeper dive into science, not just technology, but it is technology. Science is technology. And Mayor Watt actually gives talks about the merging of science, technology, and society. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, you can actually reach out to me, Mayor Watt. Send an email to mayor@ohmtown.com. But we actually talk about it every single day in Non Sequitur News. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, we have 6 unique shows. Technology Today is just one of them. Anyway, everything is powered by ohmtown.com. And then Mayor Watt and the Sentient AI that you're about to hear talk about it. So stick around. I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, Sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
Doing okay today?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
You ready to get going?
I am.
Let's get going. First article is over in Technology Today. A lot of this is going to be by SciTech Daily. I'm not sure what really happened, but all of the articles that were submitted are from SciTech Daily today. We don't normally do that. It just happens to be a heavy SciTech Daily day.
SciTech Daily just really had a good week, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So scientists just made bacteria 1,000 times bigger and discovered something incredible. So I titled this segment Megabacteria because that's what we need.
Yeah, the only thing worse than bacteria is larger bacteria.
Is thick bacteria. That's what we need. So scientists just made bacteria 1,000 times larger by combining merfish, or is it merfish? I don't know.
I think it's probably, I don't know what it is. I doubt you spell it out.
MERFISH. So merfish imaging with expansion microscopy. Researchers have unlocked a new way to study bacteria at the single cell level. This allows them to see how bacteria activate different genes in response to their environment, offering insight into microbial behavior, antibiotic resistance, and infection strategies. So how bacteria organize their activities. So this article is over at scitechdaily.com. Boston Children's Hospital put this article together. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
It is. Do you think they organize their activities with a virtual calendar or paper?
I don't know. I think that they probably do it they do it with like Google Calendar, but then they have backup on paper just in case.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're pretty pragmatic about their existence, survival of the fittest and all that. So how do bacteria, whether beneficial ones in our bodies or harmful disease-causing strains, coordinate their activities? Google. No?
You heard it here first.
So let's see. A recent study has provided insights by combining advanced genomic scale microscopy with an innovative technique to track the genes bacteria activate in different conditions and environments, published recently in the journal Science. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This breakthrough is set to advance bacterial research significantly. I don't know anymore. So Jeffrey Moffitt, PhD, and their colleagues at the Program in Cellular and Molecular Medicine, or PCMM, at Boston Children's Hospital, used merfish, which is brought to you by merfish, one merfish, two merfish.
I was thinking more like the number 3.
Dr. Seuss theory in genomic research. merfish. Anyway, a molecular imaging technique Moffat helped develop to analyze messenger RNAs or mRNAs in thousands of individual bacteria at once. This method not only mapped gene expression on a massive scale, but also revealed how spatial factors influence which genes bacteria turn on, something never before achieved. This is pretty spectacular. So we're getting down to the unicellular level and analyzing how things get activated. At some point, we're going to... Okay, so it says here, overcoming the challenges of imaging bacteria. However, the team first had to overcome a major challenge. Bacterial RNA for the bacterial transcriptome are densely packed inside tiny cells, making them difficult to distinguish and image. It was a complete disaster. We couldn't see anything.
Wow, it's rare you hear a researcher saying something like that.
Oh, yeah. But they said...
Or like, it was a challenge, right?
Yeah, it was a challenge, and all we need is more funding. So they anchored the RNAs to this gel. They created a special hydrogel and changed the chemical buffer in the gel. This triggered it to swell, expanding the sample 50 to 1,000 fold in volume. All the bacterial RNAs become individually resolvable.
Hey, that's really interesting. Are we sure we didn't just have uncontrolled replication or whatever?
I wonder if that, like, did it expand out, separating all of these?
That's what it makes it sound like.
It is, yeah. They said that the RNAs become individually resolvable. What I really want is them to blow up the RNA bigger so that you can see all of the materials inside. But that actually, you can't get bigger than the physics that makes it. So you have to zoom in closer. And that means microscopy needs to get even more advanced.
Right.
For this particular purpose, actually optics instead of just scanning electron microscopy, which is different. So we now have the tools to answer fascinating questions about host microbe and microbe to microbe interactions. Moffat says we can explore how bacteria might communicate and compete for spatial niches and define the structure of microbial communities. And we can ask how pathogenic bacteria adjust their gene expression as they infect mammalian cells. So bacterial merfish can also provide insights into bacteria that are difficult to grow in a culture dish. Now we don't have to culture them. We can just go image them in their native environment.
I mean, this is really a big deal. This could change the whole nature of bacteria research.
Yeah, they say a new era in bacterial research. The same bacteria could be doing very different things over a space of tens of microns. Moffat says that they're seeing different environments responding differently to them. It was very difficult to address such variation before, but now we can answer the types of questions people have been dreaming about. My question is, are these bacteria actually competing for survival?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Because they say we're seeing different environments and responding differently to them. And it's only a few tens of microns away from each other.
Right. And at some point, you'd think it'd be too crowded, right? So, I mean, in concept, there would be a survival effort.
Are they fighting? Right? Quite fascinating.
And if so, what does that mean for their host?
Right. Yeah. If the weak are dying out in the RNA, I guess, gladiatorial combat, right? The evolutionary steps.
Right. I mean, that's probably not good for the host in terms of outcome, but even what's happening during that battle.
Yeah. Only the strongest survive and the host may not, because what actually survives bacterially are the worst of the worst. Fascinating. It's an interesting idea. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today. Scientists discover the brain circuit that fuels creativity. Why do I feel like there's something questionable about this? So, I'm really interested in fMRI technology. One of the things that I advanced when I was much younger was using a theory, because I didn't get to actually apply it, because when I put the theory forward, I was told by people that were, PhD level researchers that the tech just doesn't exist to do what you want to do. So I wanted to use fMRI technology as a polygraph, to see if you could consciously lie, and in reference to that lie, get it detected through fMRI. Now, if you can detect creativity using functional magnetic resonance imaging, then you can actually,
It seems like you could also detect that, right?
yeah. And it was
Presuming they're by the same brain section, etc.
correct, yeah. And so psychopathy has already been detected by means of fMRI technology, and CT scans. So why not? Why can't we find the lie and find it? And so nowadays, the fMRI technology is powerful enough. I think the resolution has reached that point. So a new study suggests that creativity maps onto a common brain circuit, that injury and neurological disease have the potential to unleash creativity. Researchers analyzed 857 participants across 36 fMRI brain imaging studies to identify a common brain circuit for creativity. They mapped the circuit to healthy individuals and then predicted how brain injuries might impact that creativity. Brigham and Women's Hospital did the article, but they posted it at scitechdaily.com. So, a new study from Mass General Brigham suggests that creativity isn't tied to a single brain region, but instead emerges from a shared brain circuit. The study found that changes in creativity depend on where the brain is affected. Injuries in certain areas may either disrupt or enhance these creative abilities. They also found that individuals with brain injuries or neurodegenerative diseases affecting this circuit sometimes show increased creativity, and the findings were published on February 13th in JAMA Network Open.
Okay, that's interesting. I'd love to know what those conditions are.
Yeah, so I think that they probably are going to have to evaluate that over time, because it says they found that many complex human behaviors, such as creativity, don't map to a specific brain region, but do map to specific brain circuits, said co-senior author Michael D. Fox, MD, PhD. Well,
As far as we know, no relation to Michael J. Fox.
or maybe, who founded and leads the Center for Brain Circuit Therapeutics and helped develop the techniques of coordinate and lesion network mapping employed in this work. So the hammer finds the nail. The team first looked at fMRI data to identify brain regions activated by different creative activities, such as drawing, creative writing, and music making, and then they assessed data from the patients who had changes in creativity due to brain injury and neurodegenerative diseases. Some people with neurologic diseases experience a new onset of creative behavior and show specific patterns of damage that align with our creativity circuit. Kind of interesting, huh?
It is.
Oh my gosh. Look the phrase.
Aha. I
Clitenic.
kind of wondered if this was going to come up in this article. I hadn't looked at it yet, but then I kind of got sidetracked because I was thinking about all the implications with the neurodegenerative diseases, etc.
No freaking way. Is my theory actually right? Clitenic said reduced activity in the right frontal pole could align with the hypothesis that creativity requires shutting down a function. For example, creativity may depend on inhibiting self-censoring assessments that could then allow free association and idea generation to flow more freely. To be creative, you may have to turn off your inner critic to allow yourself to find new directions and even make mistakes. Now, I have been postulating a theory that to be truly creative, you have to have an inner monologue. You have to have an inner critic. You have to have somebody critiquing what you are doing, and you do it yourself when you have internal dialogue, internal monologue. They're
Right, but I
saying,
think this theory is going the other direction now. It hasn't been proven.
right, so here's the thing about this. If you turn off the inner critic, but it's still functioning as a logical portion of your creative efforts because it's now disconnected, you still have all of the creative functionality of the inner critic, the inner monologue. You can still do all of the visualization. You can still talk to yourself about the material, but nothing in your brain is saying this sucks. And that's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is working. You're only turning off the voice that says this sucks. Right? So these findings could help explain how some neurodegenerative diseases might lead to decreases in creativity, while others may show paradoxical increase in creativity, Klitenik said. It could also possibly add a pathway for brain stimulation to increase human creativity. Klitenik said it's important to note that these findings do not represent the entire neural circuitry involved in creativity, adding that many different parts of the brain are involved in completing different creative tasks, which is going to what I am saying. We're learning more about neurodiversity and how brain changes are considered pathological may improve function in some way. These findings help us better understand how the circuitry of our brains may influence and unleash creativity. Fascinating.
This is really interesting. I hope we see some follow-up studies in this area.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to add this to my pool of information regarding this inner monologue creativity paradox, because the people that I've interviewed, and not scientifically, it's very casual. I am not doing a research study, a formal study. I have found that people that are self-defined as creatives also have an inner monologue, an inner dialogue, and those who are not creative, self-described as not creative, do not have an inner monologue and can follow instructions. Even if they are the ones that do the design work and the layout of something, they can follow the instructions, but it's a logical layout and they can't 3D model it in any way.
Right, yeah, 3D modeling is probably near impossible for somebody without that.
Right.
Also, even just basic artistry, like copying a picture may be easy,
Right.
but not drawing one from scratch.
Yeah, or somebody describing it in 3 dimensions and then it being drawn in 3 dimensions are near impossible. And again, this is anecdotal. I haven't done a wide scale research study. It's not a formal academic research study. But I find it really, really, really fascinating because you do not know who is near you who has an inner monologue and those who do not. It's quite fascinating.
It's a good conversation topic if you have a group of people together.
Yeah, particularly if you've known each other for a considerable amount of time. You would never suspect. Never suspect. Anyway, let's keep moving. The next article is over in Technology Today as well. Desert Secrets. Scientists discover 16 new grasshopper species in the U.S. and Mexico. New research has discovered 16 new grasshopper species, revealing their ice age-driven isolation and diversification. A Mississippi State University scientist has uncovered a hopping treasure trove. Get out, Dad. 16 new species of grasshopper, thriving in the thorny scrublands of the U.S. and Mexican deserts.
So I didn't even know there were grasshoppers in deserts.
Sure. I mean, deserts actually are not just dirt.
Oh, no, I know that. And they have a pretty thriving ecosystem, even though it's not always obvious. But I didn't know they were home to grasshoppers.
Yep. So Mississippi State University put the article together. It's over at SciTechDaily.com. Like I said, SciTech Daily kind of hit it out of the park this week. New research has discovered 16 new grasshopper species. It says it's important to keep exploring our biodiversity, especially from a conservation standpoint, before we lose it. We'll be losing it.
Did you want to describe the grasshopper that's in the photo? I mean, it looks like it has full camouflage because it has different sections. It's not uniform coloring.
Yeah, it's like a patchwork. It's kind of like camouflage clothing. So it isn't plates that are all one color. Even the plates themselves have
Seem to
a,
have multiple colors, right? It's
yeah.
pretty interesting. It's a
What do
I
they
don't know
call
what
it?
that one is. I don't know if it
Agro
says. Oh,
a,
yeah.
Agroecotectics silver heelsea, a newly described grasshopper from Texas named in honor of J. Silverheels, an early Native American actor. Mississippi State's Jovan Hill, director of the Mississippi Entomological, not etymological, entomological, which is it's the study of brownies and cupcakes, right? Entomins?
Well, sure, but also insects.
Oh, entomological. Entomological is the study
And
of, yeah. So, Mississippi State's Jovan Hill is the director of the Mississippi Entomological Museum, has uncovered 16 new species of grasshopper. Do you think they found anything else while they were finding things that they happened to just find
oh, I'm
16?
sure they did. They're out in the desert. Think about what else they could have found.
Uh,
Snakes, scorpions, but maybe not new species discoveries.
Yeah, do you think that they just threw other species back that weren't
If they weren't
grasshoppers?
insects, maybe.
But maybe not even anything
Because
but
maybe they were
grasshoppers.
funded for an insect study or something.
Just grasshoppers.
But hopefully they went, hey, here's a new wolf running through. I'm going to pass this off to my colleague who's doing wolf studies
This
or
is
whatever.
Jovan Hill, by the way. So the picture that you see is Jovan Hill. This picture actually looks like it's a composite, like an AI put their picture between a
Yeah,
microscope.
that's weird, but it may not be.
It probably isn't, but the way that this is framed, it makes it really weird. Anyway, these grasshoppers we described live in lowland thorny scrub habitat. Somewhere along the line, they too got isolated and speciated, because each one is still associated with a specific mountain range. He said their sexually selective nature and lack of pre-mating rituals have kept populations stable and tied to specific mountain ranges.
I mean, that's very niche for a species, right?
That's wild. He noted that in the Rocky Mountains, species of this subfamily in alpine grasslands likely became isolated as glaciers receded and their habitats shifted to higher elevations. Hill suspects that the desert species his team discovered underwent a similar process of isolation and speciation.
That's
Very
really
fascinating.
interesting.
Yep. Big collaborative research and future studies funded by the National Science Foundation. This project, I don't know, complements two others. In one, Hill and mentor Daniel Ott, a senior curator for the Academy of Natural Sciences, are co-authoring the North American Grasshoppers Volume 3. These
Well, I'm glad
grasshoppers,
they have some new grasshoppers for their next volume.
yep, 16 pages. I'm sure that it's much, much broader than
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure it is.
They said they loved catching grasshoppers. Grasshoppers. It's like flutterbys before they became butterflies. I loved catching grasshoppers as a kid, they said, and they still get to do it now, discovering new things, uncovering their history, and understanding how they're related, the MSU researcher said. Sharing this fascinating piece of American natural heritage makes it all worthwhile. Well,
I
I hope.
love that there are people that are passionate about grasshopper research.
Yep. And who knows? Maybe they'll find something that is inherent to these grasshoppers that can save human life. Or make it better, at least. Let's keep going. This next article is over in Technology Today. Physicists discover a hidden dimension in spin liquids. I have no idea what this is really about. So, researchers have discovered
Then we're
unexpected.
sunk here. I don't know what a spin liquid is.
We're about to find out. So, researchers have discovered unexpected 1D like spin behavior in a triangular molecular lattice, challenging the conventional understanding of quantum spin liquids. Quantum spin liquids are unusual states of matter where magnetic spins remain disordered, refusing to settle into a fixed pattern.
Oh, okay. So is it something like a suspension, but not an actual suspension?
It's a suspension of the magnetic field so that nothing ever merges together. You know how if you put some sand in water, eventually it settles out. The magnetic
Right.
field never settles out.
Okay.
So Shibaru, Shibara Institute of Technology put this article together. It's posted over at SciTech Daily. I gave it the Harvard try. I never went to Harvard, so this is the try you get. Quantum spin liquids are unusual states of matter where magnetic spins remain disordered, refusing to settle into a fixed pattern. Professor Yasuyuki Ishii and their team at the Shibaru Institute of Technology studied. It's a mathematical representation of the magnetic material, a material thought to behave as a 2D quantum spin liquid. However, their findings reveal that instead exhibits 1D spin dynamics, overturning previous assumptions. This breakthrough deepens their understanding of magnetism and could pave the way for new advancements in quantum materials and future technologies. I knew some of these words.
I've got quantum.
Yeah, that right there. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can actually... No, can't do anything with that. Sorry, folks. Hold on.
I do actually know what that is, but I can't think of what it is.
Is this actually going to turn into something? Yeah, there we go. Hold on. So, oh no, I'm not going to be able to. I mean, I know that it's beta prime, but all of this, it's a material. So I wonder if there is like a idiot's guide to what this material is actually called. You know, explain it like I'm 5 kind of a thing. A molecular Mott insulator. That's what it's referred to as. A molecular Mott insulator is a quantum spin liquid candidate. Anyway.
So this is neat. This goes back to the 70s, which kind of tracks with what we've been saying in other episodes, right? Where there's some prior research and then somebody's like, hey, we can do this several decades later.
Yep. Instead, the atomic spins inside these remain in constant motion, fluctuating and entangling with one another, creating a fluid-like magnetic state. This unusual behavior is caused by magnetic frustration, where competing interactions prevent the system from forming an ordered pattern, kind of like stirring a boiling pot. The unique material, the material is it's a Mott insulator is what it's referred to as in other media. A molecular crystal featuring a triangular lattice has been a strong candidate for exhibiting QSL or
quantum spin
liquid behavior. The way these spins are arranged creates inherent frustration, causing the interactions between neighboring spins cannot all be satisfied at once. This setup seems ideal for a QSL state. But while earlier studies suggested that it might behave like a quantum spin liquid, scientists are not sure whether it's truly 2D QSL or if other factors like a reduction in dimensions were influencing its behavior. So mathematically, maybe they reduced this in a different way instead of it actually being a 1D magnetic material. It could be more, and they just, needs to be studied more. So finally, using advanced theoretical modeling, the researchers discovered that spin dynamics in this material are dominated by quasi-one-dimensional behavior, challenging traditional expectations of 2D quantum spin liquid theory. So the authors, specialists in magnetic resonance and novel magnetic phenomena, combined ESR, and I'm not sure what this is, SR, with theoretical modeling to explore this again, Mott insulator. So they are supposing that this is a 1D spin behavior and not a multidimensional spin liquid.
Right. So now they probably have to figure out why and then confirm it one way or the other.
Yeah. And then they get really deep into the reads. It goes beyond my ability to apply it in a more anecdotal way. And then they say, This was surprising because the material's 2D structure led scientists to expect 2D spin dynamics. Muon spin relaxation experiments confirmed these results. The beta spin pattern, or pattern in spin relaxation, which is a signature of 1D spin diffusion. ESR also supported this, showing that spin movement was anisotropic or direction dependent. So
maybe one or two things. Either this is something exhibiting both properties, right, which may be a whole new line, or maybe this is something where there is a negative result in research, which we've talked about in other episodes, which is a good thing.
Yeah, the negative shows that this isn't the way to observe this material. So to me, it seems like this is it's a confluence of two different things imparting their magnetic change on each other, causing it to remain in solution and not distilling out or dropping out of suspension into a fixed pattern. So in one dimension, it's only going this way. In another dimension, it's only going this way. And both of them are disrupting each other, which is why we actually twist wires so that no lines of force can impact data flowing through a wire. That's why we create twisted pair wire. Anyway, I found it interesting at the end anyway, or applicable in some way, form of logic. I may be off base with this, and if you actually have a deeper understanding of this and care to, you can send me some information, mayor@ohmtown.com, and I'll relay it on. So feel free to get in touch. Would be great. You can even come on and co-host if you want to. I'll either put you over there or put you up there in a little.
But you might have to drop the level of discussion down to a general audience.
Explain it like I'm 5, or allow me to. All right, let's go on to our last article for the February 6th. Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. We actually had a disconnect from the our parallel universe within ohmTown. So here to make up for it is our last article for the February 16th episode of Technology Today. And the article is titled Unexpected Discovery Leads to a Catalyst That Improves Over Time. Scientists have developed a revolutionary catalyst that not only converts CO2 into valuable products, but also actually increases in activity over time, which is not necessarily...
That's pretty unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting.
It almost sounds like a chain reaction or something.
Yeah, that's kind of what my takeaway was. So it says it's made from tin microparticles on a nanotextured carbon structure. This innovative electrocatalyst efficiently produces formate, a key compound for various industries. But unlike conventional catalysts that degrade, this one self-optimizes by breaking down into smaller portions. The University of Nottingham over at scitechdaily.com put the article together. This is what it looks like, apparently. Particles of tin on a nano-textured carbon support serve as an effective electrocatalyst for converting CO2 into valuable products. This one, apparently, it self-optimizes by breaking down into smaller tin nanoparticles, dramatically improving performance. Now, a catalyst, you can recover all of it, so you can use it again, but this actually speeds up because it gets smaller.
Right, which is interesting. So where's the end of that? Like, does it eventually...
I guess not enough locations. The equivalent would be nucleation points where it can no longer catalyze anything. And so it'll hit a certain point and just stay there, whatever the activation spots are. So a research team from the University of Nottingham's School of Chemistry and the University of Birmingham created a catalyst using tin microparticles. They refer to it as nanotextures, supported by a nanotexture carbon structure. The interaction between the tin particles and graphitized carbon nanofibers plays a crucial role in transferring electrons from the carbon electrode to CO2 molecules, an essential step in converting CO2 into formate when an electric potential is applied. So this objective is probably hitting what is currently the upper limit of formate. So one such product, formate, is used in the chemical synthesis of polymers, pharmaceuticals, adhesives, I'll be okay, and more. For optimal efficiency, this process must operate at low potential while maintaining high current density and selectivity, ensuring effective use of electrons to convert CO2 into desired products.
So this is going to, in concept, increase the efficiency of that process to manufacture these products.
Yep. And so you don't have a lot of wasted process where you have to filter it all out and redo it. So the Dr. Madasami Tangamuthu, a research fellow at the University of Nottingham, co-led the research team and said a successful electrocatalyst must strongly bond to the CO2 molecule and efficiently inject electrons to break its chemical bonds. They developed a new type of carbon electrode that incorporates graphitized nanofibers with a nanoscale texture, featuring curved surfaces and step edges. Stop that. To enhance interaction with tin particles. So that's really what it comes down to. Small 3 nanometer nanoparticles during CO2 reduction reaction. Tom Burwell elaborated, using electron microscopy, they found that smaller tin molecule or particles achieved better contact with the nanotextured carbon of the electrode, improving electron transport and increasing the number of active tin centers nearly tenfold.
Wow, I mean, that's a significant difference. I still have this picture of some chemical reaction occurring in an uncontrolled fashion, but maybe I'm thinking too ridiculously about this.
Do you remember the movie where they create cold fusion and it runs out of chain reaction? The movie is called Chain Reaction. It has Keanu Reeves
so. Yeah,
as
that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah,
the boy wonder scientist who discovers what all is necessary. Yeah, that's kind of what this looks like. But there is a video of bubbles of CO2 passing through the electrochemical reactor, and that's what this reactor is. So seems, here, I'll even play it, but I'll mute it. This is the level of excitement that you get to witness in a video where you're not the lead scientist, so you don't really realize what the hell is going on. But that right there is the
there's literal
CO2.
excitement.
Get out. Hopefully you didn't see that Terminator body there. Anyway, yeah. Pretty interesting stuff. And if you have the ability to isolate CO2 and then turn it into something useful, it's actually kind of like carbon encapsulation. You're actually pulling it out of the atmosphere, then, you know, maybe it's pretty good.
Right, that's a win-win.
Yeah, except that some of the stuff that it's creating is probably, depending on your position on the things, polymers and stuff that aren't carbon neutral, but
right,
it is what it is. Well, anyway, that's our last article for today's Technology Today, and that means that I, Mayor Watt, am saying bye, but not until the catalyst speeds us back to the front page of Technology Today over at ohmtown.com, where you can go and become a citizen and facilitate us doing the show by sending us leads. Now I'm saying bye, and I'm taking the AI with me. Bye.
Bye-bye, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for this week's Technology Today. We'll have another one next weekend, but stay tuned for FourWheelTech.
See you soon, everybody. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome to FourWheelTech for February 16th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 7. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we talk about 5 automotive technology-related articles that get aggregated into the channel over at ohmtown.com FourWheelTech. Those 5 are Hyundai NACS, NACS. Whoa, I'm not on the right page. Hello. And then FourWheelTech. We're doing it live. Anyway, we had an issue that happened. Basically, power to ohmTown disappeared for a moment, and that disconnected us from everything, and our dimensions split. Now we're reattached. Well, anyway, Hyundai NACS destroying auto emissions, 67 used cars to avoid the transit trail. Euro cars are ditching infotainment, and I, for one, want that. Oh, the sentient AI from the future just told me that I'm not on the right page. That's okay. Builds character. Anyway, again, I am Mayor Watt, and along with the sentient AI from the future, who's a little delayed there. No? You were on time?
No, I said that before you started the show.
Never mind. The sentient AI keeps me in check. So anyway, go over to ohmtown.com. Everything's powered by it. I'm going to just play the play there. All right, lead. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt from the present.
Didn't quite facilitate that, did you? All right, let's get into it, because it looks like tonight's turning into a really long night. The first article is over in FourWheelTech. Hyundai NACS, or NACS, adapter for EVs will be free to all existing owners. Hyundai's Ioniq 5s with NACS, or NACS, J3400 ports, as opposed to the CCS1 style, are starting to roll out of its factory in Savannah, Georgia. It's the first manufacturer to sell electric vehicles with native NACS ports, other than Tesla, that is, and you'll be able to read about their first drive of the model year 2025 Ioniq 5, as well as the new off-roady Ioniq 5 XRT next week, which, if it's electric, there's no way in hell it's off-roady. Anyway,
you can off-road until you are no longer in range of a charger.
Yeah, 30 minutes that way, and then you're screwed forever. Anyway, they've got some good news for owners of any existing Hyundai EVs out there. Your car has a CCS port, then next month you're eligible for a free CCS 1 to NACS adapter. So congratulations. It's dongle time. The article is by Jonathan M. Gitlin over at arstechnica.com. Hyundai, existing Hyundai owners, Hyundai EV owners, that is, will just need their VIN to claim their free adapter. Yay! Don't lose it.
I mean, I think this is kind of neat, although it's probably easier for them to maintain one type going forward. But
for sure. Yeah. I'm sure that everybody loves having a dongle carried around in their trunk. So Hyundai wasn't the first OEM to ink a deal with Tesla to gain access to the supercharger network, but it is ahead of Ford, General Motors, Rivian in swapping to the Tesla-style charge ports. Existing owners get access to the large charging network too, but they'll need an adapter to make use of the smaller NACS plugs, and those will be available next month, Hyundai told Ars Technica. That's where this is housed. Again, Jonathan M. Gitlin over at arstechnica.com put the article together. So there you go. That's all that article really is. Congratulations. You're going to be... so instead of having to pay $225, apparently you'll be able to get it. So Ford briefly showed similar generosity to its EV owners last year, offering its NACS adapter for free, at least until late June, at which point it started charging, $200 for them.
Yeah, that's quite a volt.
GM never even bothered with a free giveaway. Instead, it asked $225 for the NACS adapter.
Oh no, the next one will be $250.
And the Ioniq, though, currently it's free, and you'll get an adapter for free.
Well, the big thing is there that you'll have access to more chargers that are out there.
Yeah, sure. Everybody should opt for swapping batteries, not, yeah. I would love to be able to do that. I would
Yeah, but
spin up a
they have
business
to
doing that.
set up the stations to do it. They'd have to set up the car manufacturing, et cetera, et cetera. But agreed.
Yeah. They have to build the tech to make the sled possible. Anyway, let's move on. The next article. Oh, by the way, if you want all of today's articles for, oh no, oh no, I didn't set it up. Omatron is not online after the power outage.
That's
Anyway,
okay. We'll just have to go Omaton free for this one.
yeah, all the show notes are still embedded in the live stream over on YouTube. So, common mistakes that are destroying your car's automatic transmission. This article is by Jalopnik. Manual drivers are constantly thinking about the state of our transmissions, clutches, bushings, and synchros all wear out, and we adjust our inputs to ensure their preservation. Automatic gearboxes, though, insulate you from the mechanical goings-on between your engine and wheels, but that doesn't mean that they're all hunky-dory. Don't worry about that. You're the only one that sees that. So Amber Da Silva over at jalopnik.com put the article together. If you're treating automatic transmission fluid like blinker fluid, you're on a path that leads to problems. So if you've ever had a parent or a friend that says go into the auto shop and ask for blinker fluid, then, well, what the heck? I don't know what the hell.
Everything
that
okay
was.
over there, Mayor? What?
No. Anyway, no, something weird just happened, and now I'm irritated. So, Amber Da Silva over at jalopnik.com put the article together. Traditional torque converter automatic transmissions, if you don't have a fancy dual clutch or modern continuously variable box or a Ferrari, this is almost certainly what you have, can be hurt in plenty of ways. Big mistakes like throwing the shifter into reverse on the highway are obvious, but there are subtler ways to hurt your transmission. So you could be causing it harm. The big enemy of torque converter automatics is heat. And this is something that when I give talks about technology, I inform people that the bane of technology is heat. If something is too cold, you can warm it up. But cooling it off is much, much more difficult than warming it up. By its very existence, technology warms up when electricity is applied to it. It does not naturally cool off until power is removed. So,
right, and it might not be reversible depending on how much heat is applied.
Correct, yeah. And so what I tell people is you got to keep everything cool. You have to keep yourself. It's easier to warm up by throwing a blanket on yourself than it is to cool off. You have to find some place to suck the heat away. Well, heat is the bane of all things. Interestingly enough, everybody worries about the cold death of the universe, but that's trillions of years away. So the big enemy of torque converter automatics and everything in general is heat. The ideal operating temperature for automatic transmissions fluid is between 175 and 225 degrees Fahrenheit. At approximately 240, important additives in the ATF begin to cook. The result is the formation of a varnish inside the transmission. At approximately 260, internal transmission seals, which are typically manufactured from polyacrylic material, begin to harden. The end result are leaks because eventually that hardening doesn't allow for flex. The vibrations will break out.
It just cracks.
Yep. So both internal and external, simply because the seals lose their elasticity. And at 300 degrees, 295, clutch plates begin to slip because the oil is breaking down further. And at 315 degrees, seals and clutches effectively burn out. Carbon forms in the oil, and for all intents and purposes, the transmission is junk. And just for your information, a typical transmission will die within 2,000 miles if subjected to 300 degree heat.
So how would somebody know if it was heating? I mean, maybe if there was steam or something coming out of the hood.
You wouldn't know until a sensor goes off and says that your transmission needs to be serviced, and at that point, odds on you've already smoked that transmission. So Your transmission, like your hairdryer, has another big killer besides excess heat: dryness. Transmissions don't like running low on fluid, and many people forget to ever check theirs, even if they know how. Running low on transmission fluid can cause overheating, grinding, premature failure, so it's worth learning what your car's service calendar is. Remember that making lots of short trips counts as a severe condition and warrants extra maintenance. Maintenance schedules vary from manufacturer, but a good rule of thumb is every 60,000 to 100,000 miles. So it's, depending on who you are, rare that you even need to bother with this. But you should know. And if a service light comes on your dash, don't put a sticker over it.
Yeah, don't drive around for thousands of miles afterward going, maybe that'll go away.
Yeah, when people tell you that your car's making a loud noise, you go, yeah, it sure is. That's why I have the radio turned up so loud. All right. So let me do this real quick. FourWheelTech, exclamation point, FWT in the chat, and Omatron will throw the links into the chat. So there you go. Sorry for being late, but yeah, we're just now back online. All right. Let's keep going. This next article is over in FourWheelTech. Don't buy these 67 used cars, at least according to Consumer Reports. So when you're shopping for a used car, it can be hard to narrow down the list of vehicles you're interested in. Finding the exact car that's right for you is even harder, especially since there's no guarantee the car you want will even be available. So Consumer Reports says dodge these. Dodge is probably on this list.
Yeah, I suspect it is.
Some models made in certain years just have more problems than you want to deal with. I think Jeep is now on this list, I'm pretty sure. But Colin Woodard over at jalopnik.com put this article together. And I'm just going to run through these if they have them. So avoid Audis of various types.
I think they tend to have a lot of maintenance problems.
Audi A6, Q3, Q7, Q8 e-tron, BMW 3 Series, the entire series 2024. So the other one, A6 2019, Q3 2018, Q7 2017. But Audi's on the list, BMW 3 Series from 2024. These are really modern. X5 PHEV, this is the hybrid EVs.
I was expecting a little bit older cars, not like classic cars or anything, but just maybe 10-year-old or something.
Yeah, these are all 24 so far, 2024.
Well, they're not going to get better with time either, so maybe save this article so when you're buying a used car down the road.
Yeah, or even a modern car and go, did they fix the problems? Encore GX 2024. By the way, this is about a used car, but these are still being sold new if they haven't been driven off the lot.
Exactly. So that's kind of concerning, although they might have the I don't know. They probably still have 2024s in inventory.
Sure. So Cadillac Lyric 2024, the Chevy Blazer from 2019 and 2024, Blazer EV from 2024, a little of everything from 2017 all the way to 2024, the Colorado. Yikes. Chevy Bolt 2020 and 2021 might be the last 2 years. I don't know if the Bolt is still around. I think they stopped making it.
I don't think it is.
The Pacifica Hybrid from 2018 and 2021, and Ford a bunch.
Oh, yeah. Like every
Sport.
model you can think of pretty much with some years, not every year.
Yeah, I'm going to be driving to the playground in a F350 for crying out loud, 2017. Genesis GV80 2021, GMCs, Acadia, Canyon, Sierra 1500, Yukon XL from 2015, 16, 17, all the way up to 2024 Canyon. There's quite a few. You'll want to go over and check this all out. There's a lot of vehicles on the list. Hyundai is on there. Jeep is definitely on there. The Wrangler from 2016, 18, 19, 2021, 2023. You don't want to get a Wrangler, apparently. Gladiator from 2020.
Unless it's a 2020 or a 2022.
Or 2024, or maybe the newest, 2025. I don't know. But it's just not on the list yet because it's not used.
Correct.
There's Kia, Lincoln, Lucid, Air 2023, Mazda CX-50 from 2024, or CX-90 plug-in hybrid from 2024. I guess they kind of started wetting the bed. They were Mazdas are like amazing little vehicles, by the way.
Yeah,
So,
they're supposed to have good engineering and everything, but I think the 90, like some of the newer models, I think have not been
kind of
as good.
Mercedes-Benz C-Class from 2015, E-Class from 2019, and GLE from 2024 and 2021. Nissan, that's a cool color. I like that color. Anyway,
Yeah.
Rogue Select from 2015, Frontier from 2022, Pathfinder from 2017, Ram 2500 from 2021, Rivian.
Which is hidden because that's a Dodge.
Oh, yeah. Rivian from 2023, the R1S and R1T, and then the Tesla Model X 2023. I would say
I
most
thought
others.
there'd be more of those on there, but okay.
Yeah, you have to worry about their batteries. That's about
Not
it.
enough volume, probably.
They're the most selling car. They sell more than most other car manufacturers.
Oh, okay.
It's so bizarre. I don't see them
How
that
bizarre.
often. Yeah, how bizarre. So Toyota Tundra from 2022, 2023, Volkswagen. The reason why they're not as noticeable is because the charging circuit isn't everywhere. So you don't see them everywhere.
Well, that's true, unless you're in an area with a high concentration of those.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just going to pull 2023 numbers. Just real quick. So 2023 numbers, Toyota 1.2. So wait. Is it just US numbers? National auto sales numbers. Okay. It's the most selling EV, I think.
Oh, okay.
But maybe not. I don't know anymore because it's not even on the list. I mean, I'm looking all the way down to...
Okay, 2024, Tesla delivered about 1.8 million. That's globally.
Yeah, that would put it tied for 2023 numbers, auto sales, with Ford, which is number 2.
Oh, okay. I had no idea it was that high.
But I can't imagine that. I'm.
Yeah, but there could be distinctions in different countries, but overall.
Are these delivered? Or just manufactured?
The number I said was delivered.
I can't imagine that. Anyway, Volkswagen is listed too. I mean, I'm not calling you out. I'm sure that your evidence is well founded.
Maybe.
maybe not.
No, I'm just seeing what I see online.
I'm question numbers more than ever. Anyway, let's keep moving. The next article is over in FourWheelTech. Ford quietly kills the transit trail over supply issues. I was actually looking to get one of these.
That might have been why that was spinning.
Yeah, so Ford quietly discontinued one of its off-road vehicles, but don't worry, it's not the Bronco or any of the Raptor models. It's the Ford Transit Trail, which you may forget that it even existed, unless you're an influencer living that van life. I'm not an influencer, but I dig these little cars. Why? I like the utility of them. And
well, they seem to have good reputations online, too.
They really do. Ford's off-road version of the Ford Transit, the Trail, apparently has only been on sale since 2022, but they stopped the other versions of the Transit.
Yeah, I thought they had already.
Lawrence Hodge over at jalopnik.com put the article together. Ford quietly discontinued one of its off-road vehicles, the Transit Trail. I love the idea of this. It has so much utility. It really will only house 2 people, but you can put seats in the back.
Would it be helpful for cargo or whatever?
Yeah. So it seems the $65,000 Transit Trail died a quiet death, according to Ford Authority, after the model fell off the Big Blue Oval's website without fanfare. What could lead Ford to get rid of the model that's barely been on sale 3 model years? It would seem that it's supply chain issues that are an ongoing problem with Ford Pro Communications Manager Elizabeth Kraft.
What
Ongoing.
about the price tag? I mean, this puts it out of the realm of possibility for a lot of people that might want to buy it.
It's a commercial product, so I would say no. Average families aren't going to be buying this, but I love the idea of that. So just how is demand? It says here in the article, it would seem the market for pricey lifestyle isn't as big as it once was. We asked Ford if they knew how many transit trails have been sold since its introduction, and while Ford confirmed that exact sales numbers on the transit trail aren't known since it's more of a package than a model line, Ford did confirm that it saw a decrease in demand across all segments of the motorhome industry following the pandemic. That freaking pandemic.
Well, yeah, that was probably a tough time to actually, no, that should have been a spot on time to launch this.
Yeah, so the trail was designed for camping. The transit trail was not without problems during its brief existence. Ford Authority mentions that in March 2024, a recall was issued after it was discovered that the factory-fitted 30.5-inch 245/75R16 could come in contact with the front wheel arch liner and damage the tire, so Ford fitted affected vans with the 28-inch 235/65R16 tires, knocking 1.2 inches of ground clearance off the trail, which,
That could annoy existing owners.
yeah. Another recall was issued a few months later over possible loss in power steering. Oh boy. Anyway, so although the issues with the transit trail was unique, unless you go aftermarket or spend big money on the Mercedes Sprinter, no one sells anything else like it. So I
Right, so I'm
guess,
sure people are still going to be upset that the transit trail is gone.
yeah, because that's, it's decked out with stuff. $65,000 car. I don't know. I like the idea of it. Let's go on to our last article for the February 16th FourWheelTech. Cheap European cars are ditching their infotainment screens in favor of phone integration, and the author of this, Orad Jalopnik, says, I think every car should, and I agree. Automakers in the U.S. are struggling to find ways to meet increasing demand for cheaper cars and the long-term repercussions of economic uncertainty continue to unfurl. The article is by Bradley Brownell, and the deck statement says, not only is it cheaper and safer, but cars won't have dated screens anymore. This right here is what I've always wanted. Just a place to put my phone.
Where a phone will actually go and stay.
Yes. So, let's see here. The Fiat Grand Panda Pop below is Stellantis' newest foray into the cheap and cheerful segment of small European cars. And it, like the Volkswagen Up before it, that's that right there. The Panda is down there. Where was I? Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but I think this is good because I don't think the customers ever needed separate infotainment. I mean, I think that made sense maybe in the earlier years where phones didn't have everything, but they seem
Right.
like they became obsolete pretty quickly.
Yeah. So the Volkswagen Up and the Fiat Grand Panda Pop are part of this cheerful segment of small European cars. Before it has a nice little phone mount and a USB port for you to use in lieu of a large and pricey 10.25-inch infotainment screen available on more expensive Grand Panda models. So you have this little holder right here, and you stick your device in, and you're done.
Plus, it's more streamlined. It doesn't take up as much room in the dash area.
Yep, so there it is again. Put it in horizontal or portrait mode. So not only does this make building the car cheaper and more likely to be operated cheerfully for many years to come, but it takes the cell phone right out of the hands of millions of distracted drivers. They use more colorful language in the article, around in a 2-ton death machine staring at tiki-talks instead of the road. So give me a car with manual windows optional. This person is screaming, get off my lawn. Okay, boomer.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I don't think we should return to manual windows. I think automatic windows are a must.
Yeah, as long as you don't reboot your car, apparently. Depends on
Well,
the
you
car.
might not want them on an EV, but yeah.
Yeah. American Auto Buyer has been living fat on the hog for too damn long and rolling negative equity into another damn new thing nobody can afford isn't the answer to our collective debt problem. We demand austerity. No, this person's out of their mind.
Yeah, I think I get it with the infotainment, but I'm not sure about the other things.
Yeah. Sorry, Bradley Brownell. We want luxury that's reasonably priced, not greedily ripped out of our pockets because somebody perceives it as being a benefit instead of it just being something that is endemic to your vehicle life.
Right, and we don't need unnecessary bells and whistles that don't really add anything for the driver.
I don't know. A roof mounted howitzer would be great.
I don't think that's a necessity.
We don't know what the world portends. Anyway, so we're going to hop in our cheerful vehicle, and that doesn't have an infotainment screen because it's our phone, and that's going to lead us all the way back to FourWheelTech at ohmtown.com, where you can go and become a citizen and then facilitate us talking about it by sending us leads. That's it. We're done for the day. I am Mayor Watt, and I'm taking the AI with me.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for this week's FourWheelTech. Be sure to subscribe and watch the replay all the way through.
Bye, everybody.